Net zero is a commitment that's meant to last for 30 years. Yesterday, Senator Canavan said the government would scrap its net zero policy after the election because we can't bind future party rooms or parliaments. Why should anyone believe this slideshow will last beyond the next election if the coalition is re-elected?
The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Well, Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable member for a question, and might I say that as much as I have a lot of time at times for Senator Canavan, he didn't actually write the plan. And so, Mr Speaker, the views of any individual I'm glad that the honourable member is fascinated, and I must say, she seems to be following Senator Canavan a lot closer than I am. But it's good. She has a lot of spare time. They get a lot of spare time on the other side. And, Mr Speaker, I think the really important thing is that she obviously has a strong belief that for the next 30 years we'll be in government, and I appreciate that. And on their recent track record, it wouldn't be surprising. And I'll tell you why, Mr Speaker, that she thinks we'll be looking after this nation for the next 30 years is because we believe in the inspiration of the individual, and her government believes in legislation. They are going to legislate. They're going to legislate, and by so doing, the member for Sydney. She doesn't care about Central Queensland. She thinks that Central Queensland's a big joke. It's a big joke. Well, maybe if they had $500 million for an art gallery in Central Queensland, life would be a lot better for them. But the member for Sydney thinks that Central Queensland is a joke. She must
just
think
so the
those
Deputy Prime Minister,
you're
digressing from the question.
Sorry, Mr Speaker, I was distracted by the frivolity of the member for Sydney, who was obviously thought that people's lives and working...
No, you're now repeating it.
Mr Speaker, we will make sure, in response to the question, that for the next 30 years, if we are blessed with the opportunity of running the place, and I hope we are, for the sake of Australians, that we will utilise a mechanism of believing in the intelligence of people and the inspiration of people to achieve the outcomes that we have set out with the plan, because it's only the other side that believes in legislating them out of a job.
The member for Wentworth.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister for Industry, Energy and Emissions Reduction. Will the Minister outline to the House how the Morrison government's plan will see Australia build on our record of meeting and beating our emissions reduction targets, focusing on technology, not taxes? And is the Minister aware of any alternative approaches?
The Minister for Industry, Energy and Emissions Reduction.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Wentworth for his question, and as a well-respected former diplomat. He knows how important it is to have a strong plan to reach net zero by 2050, but to do it in the Australian way, Mr Speaker, to do it in the Australian way. And he knows that we're building on a strong track record.
The member for Macarthur will leave under Standing Order 94A. The Minister has the call.
He knows we have a strong track record, Mr Speaker. We met and beat our Kyoto targets by 459 million tonnes, almost a year's worth of emissions. We're on track to meet and beat our 2030 targets by up to 35% reduction. Mr Speaker, we're already 20.8% down, Mr Speaker. And the plan we've laid out today is a practical, responsible path forward, Mr Speaker, that respects Australians and respects the Australian way, Mr Speaker, preserving and supporting jobs in traditional industries, but also capturing new opportunities as they emerge and as customer demands change, Mr Speaker. It continues to build on the policies and initiatives that have worked, Mr Speaker, that have worked. Now, there's 5 core principles behind the plan. Technology, not taxes, Mr Speaker. The plan respects Australians' choices. It respects the fact that Australians have been choosing